Welcome to the Adulting Podcast. I'm Zack Peatross, a naturally platinum blonde podcaster, author, and sassy self-improvement addict spewing all those burning questions you're too afraid to ask.
And I'm Abigail, Fraher, an unfiltered boss babe, daylighting as a lifestyle guru, stirring the pot on social issues. We're here to help you look cute,
live well,
work hard,
and stay woke.
Together,
let's conquer adulting. Welcome back to Adulting, everybody. I'm Zack Peatross.
And I'm Abigail Fraher.
How are you? How is that West Coast life? Or sorry, I'm on the West Coast. How's that East Coast life?
It's good. It's good. I'm getting meaner by the day. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone thinks I'm so friendly. I'm like,
I want you to come back. I want you to come back a raging New York bitch.
It's happening. Slowly but surely, I'm changing now. It's good. Fall's coming. It was like 75 today. It was so pretty.
I know. It's already, where did summer go? How are we already in fall? Like, that's the part that's like the craziest to me.
It's insane. It's literally insane.
Well, since fall is here, I know. I can't believe we've been in quarantine this long. Remember when we were like, oh my God, quarantine's going to be like 4 weeks, guys. We got this. Let's just meditate.
Memorial Day. It'll be fine. Oh, hi. It's Labor Day.
Surprise. Well, now that it is fall, we figured it was time to bring on somebody that's pretty savvy with helping us combat all of the sickness this time of year, or not just this time of year, but this entire 2020 year. She's a functional medicine crusader, helping us get to the root cause of illness and heal from within, helping us boost our depleted American immune systems and thrive this fall. Please welcome Dr. Jess Peatross.
Thank you so much, Zack. Well said, actually. Our depleted American immune systems. Yeah.
With the standard American diet.
Yeah, it is really sad, actually. That's a big cause, a big problem. And thanks for having me on too, by the way.
Of course. I always love chatting with you ever since we had you on for like an Instagram live, I think like almost 2 years now, talking about CBD and cannabinoids, and then all of the work that we did for autism last year. It's always a blast working with you.
Thank you so much. Same.
So before we dive deep, we want you to espresso yourself, okay? Just that we can get to know you a little better.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Oof, I guess as ready as I can be, right?
You'll finish it for me. So the first one is I cannot get through my day without.
Ooh, I cannot get through my day without working out.
Okay. And what are you doing to work out during all this with the gym closing and everything's closed? I mean, we have the outside, but
yeah, it's not, I know, it's really, you have to be super proactive. I actually got into, and this is a shameless plug, I'm not sponsored, but Tracy Anderson. Have you guys heard of her?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think Zerlina was doing that as well, Zack.
Was she?
We had another guest on.
Yeah, everybody loves Tracy Anderson here. I remember I had a colleague that would like religiously go to Tracy Anderson all the time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've never seen anyone create workouts like her, and she really digs into those muffin tops and love handles, that you hate. So really kind of whittles those away. It's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm addicted now, and every day I do it. So
is it like on live, or is it like download?
Oh, Abigail, everything. Like if you want to, basically she has a whole library full of videos. She teaches you different dances. So you dance a lot with a cardio. She has mat workouts where a lot of kickboxing and different like secondary muscles are included that really work, not the big bulky muscles, but the ones that you want to make you defined. And so there's a lot of movements you won't see elsewhere. So you dance, you do mat workouts. She has live virtual classes on the weekends. So I do it all.
I'm going to go, I'm like, you guys continue the conversation. I'm going to go on Tracy Anderson.
Do it. Yeah, I can't live without it right now.
Oh, that's great. I'm definitely going to look into that. So our next one is to stay fit which you already covered with us. You do Tracy Anderson. And then the next one is I feel sexiest when?
Oh, probably on a Friday night date, I would say, with like your cute little black cocktail dress on.
All right. And
Yeah.
with Friday, is that something that you and your partner like make a habit of doing? It's like every Friday, or like you have a date night each week, or talk to us about that a little.
Yeah, each week. I mean, sometimes my schedule doesn't allow me to do every single Friday like every week like we'd like, so I have to be a little versatile. So usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll pick one night a week to do something special. Something that is not in your daily habits, because that's what keeps the spark and the newness, not just in your relationship, but your life. Just taking a different path once a day, so that really keeps the spark alive.
Zach and I like to like kill a bottle of wine once a week by ourselves.
Just make it a different type of wine.
Yeah, we shift different wines. We'll go from a Pinot to a Pinot Grigio. Every night is a different wine.
There you go. Surprises around every corner. That's what I mean.
I love that, though. That's such a great idea to keep the relationship like, because it's so easy, I feel like, to just get caught up in like the day to day, and then you're like, oh my god, we haven't been on a date in 6 months or whatever. Like,
right.
I graduated college, and I'm like, I don't even know you anymore.
Live with a stranger. Yeah. So I just try to, I'm now 42. And so in my older age, I've learned how to kind of keep steer problems away before they're a problem, steer them off before it becomes a big issue.
I like that. That's a good line.
Yes, it is.
Single, I keep all the problems away.
Or there's that. Yeah, exactly.
And then our last icebreaker is, I feel most like a boss when.
Oh, wow. Honestly, this sounds cliche, but when I'm in service, when I'm really helping to heal people and in my dharma or life's mission, which is really helping or watching people heal and being a guide for that, I feel like a boss lady when people are doing better and they're improving and on that upward trajectory. That's my favorite. So
that means your calling is like legitimately your calling and you're doing it. Like what? I mean, that's awesome.
I'm very lucky. That way. Yeah. I love what I do, and I don't ever see myself not doing it, even when I'm 80.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love your
Thanks.
passion. I think that's what always drew me to you and your content prior, is like the passion that you have for helping people. Because you see so many of these like doctors, and they have like a big Instagram following, or they have a brand, or they have a supplement line, and like you can start to see which ones are really just in it for like building the business. And like, look, respect to the business, but at the end of the day, we want these health leaders that are going to really be putting our best interest at heart.
Exactly. And, we went into it we all took an oath to help heal people and do the best for the patient or our client. And I feel like no matter if, for me, it's not about money. Everyone has to make a living and you has to pay their bills, but it's really about being in service. That's what life is about, happiness. And you have to find your passion and your happiness. And that's where my happiness comes from, is using my gifts that I've learned to help others be their best self. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I said it better.
Thanks.
Welcome.
So functional medicine, just overall, I feel like is a little, people still see it as unorthodox, whereas like, to me, I just look at functional medicine as trying to get to the root of it. Let's not put a Band-Aid on it. Let's not just give you, a quick fix pill, but like, let's figure out what's causing the inflammation. Let's figure out what's really going on, why you're having all of these skin issues. Is it from something that you're eating? Is it from the products that you're using? And not just putting like a cream over your face just to fix the issue. What do you think about people, or what do you have to say to people that think that functional medicine is like, it's a little too progressive or it's quackery?
There are a lot of aspects of it that aren't well steeped in science yet. Some of the bioresonance stuff that's coming out right now that is very progressive isn't everyone's cup of tea, and it's not well steeped in science yet. It's very new. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying if you're looking for science, and then that could be where some of the stigma comes from, is because there are cutting edge areas of functional medicine that are into that. Honestly, I think that I would say I've been on both sides of the fence. I've done conventional medicine for almost 7 years, and now I've done functional medicine for 5 years. And so I've really gotten a great viewpoint of both sides of healing. And I think it's really important to have both. If I broke my leg, first place I go is the emergency department. But if I have hypertension and diabetes, high blood pressure and diabetes, I really don't want to take a pill for the rest of my life. And I don't know why that's a conspiracy. And there is a reason that the body is alerting us. The body is giving us a warning signal. It's very intelligent. And it's almost like, seeing a check engine light on your car and just slapping something over it and keep driving. Like, that's literally the same analogy. And people are saying it's kind of off the cuff, and it's really not. The body has answers for you if we're willing to listen, and it's okay to stick a Band-Aid on it and treat it. But at the same time, it's not wrong to be looking for heavy metals in the body. We know this exists. So I don't know why we can't incorporate a little bit of both and still be right.
I feel like you're the first person that I've heard really lift up both sides, because I feel like when you talk to people, they're either one way or the other. They're like, oh no, like, you want to use prescription medication, or they're like, oh no, I won't touch prescription medication. And I think really like, and I've always kind of felt, and Zack knows, like, I'm not super as knowledgeable, not into, but as knowledgeable about supplements and things as he is, because I've always just felt a little uncomfortable, because I'm like, listen, I'm going to take an Advil if I have a migraine, like, and just certain things like that. But I've just, I guess, always felt a little uncomfortable, because I'm like, oh, do I need to give up like one thought process to take the other? And I think that's such a great explanation that you gave.
Here's what bothers me about conventional medicine. I'm going to give you an analogy here, is that when I went to school, they would say, you can't have, adrenal axis dysfunction. That doesn't exist. You have to have Addison's disease, where your cortisol is wiped out, or none at all. You can't have mold illness, kind of. You either have fungal balls in your lungs and you're in sepsis, or mold doesn't exist. And what I've learned is that there's a gradient to all of these things. And you don't have to have this black and white test that hasn't changed in 50 years isn't the Bible. And it's not always correct to how you feel is correct. So, it's kind of the same thing. People have that viewpoint of being black or white, correct or incorrect, and they don't look at the gradient of things. Mm-hmm. I wrote a prescription medicine today for one of my patients. Am I still looking for the root cause of her pain and issues? Absolutely. But in the meantime, I'm not going to sit there and let her suffer. And so there really can be a happy medium with both. We don't have to fight.
Right. No, I love that. I've always just the conversation. Yeah. I don't know.
I think people are just, they want to like fight and have like this divisive. I feel like right now everybody wants to find a reason to fight, because they're feeling like that ickiness inside, that they want to just project it outward. But it's funny, because I remember even last year when we did the Elevated Summit together, there were scathing articles that came like dragging all of the like, I mean, we all took a beating after the event. That, like, to me, it was just so crazy to see just backlash from, like, if any of those reporters had just attended the event, like, what did we say? Like, drink some bone broth, heal your gut, take some vitamin D, like, maybe remove foods that are inflammatory, like gluten. Like, it was just, it's wild to see. I mean, I've seen it. I've been in this world for the past, I think it's going on like 12 or 13 years now. So I've seen it, and I've seen the pushback, but it seems like we're slowly starting to tread in that direction. I know I've written for like Pop Sugar and Men's Health, and at the beginning they would like really push back on some of, like, doing an article on collagen was like crazy, but now they're slowly starting to tread in that direction, which is nice. We have to find that balance.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just crazy to me here that people think that food isn't medicine, like something we put inside our bodies into our bloodstream wouldn't be medicine for our body, wouldn't be a breakdown into the very building blocks, the foundation that run every reaction in our body, because that's what food does. It breaks down into amino acids, right? Fats. It breaks down into everything that runs every reaction in the body. Why is that pseudoscience? Why?
100%. And when you look at like everything that our body's capable of doing, like obviously it would make sense that it's able to heal itself with the right nutrients or whatnot. That would make sense. I don't know why that's so crazy, but it's also, I just like loved how you tied everything together. That was really
if we want to really tie everything together, you're looking at how the government and to subsidize certain industries and in the food industry, and how certain industries have pushed certain genres and diets. And you'll see that you have to really pull back the curtain of Oz on every single dang industry to get the truth, including
100.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many, like, I mean, we could dive into that for hours, but like, so right now I feel like everybody, is very concerned about their health. Everyone, health has become very top of mind, whether the proactivity in our actions is necessarily there. I feel like staying healthy is definitely on top of everybody's mind right now. Nobody wants to get sick. What are some things that you think, like some practical things that we can start to do? Because like for me, I see a lot of people very concerned with their health, but they're at home ordering Postmates every day, sitting on their couch, in their underwear, zooming into their meetings, but their lifestyle choices haven't changed. And like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dr. Jess. I've never realized how many people in my life are immune compromised when I'm like, you didn't seem very immune compromised last summer when you were in a dive bar throwing back some tequila shots, So I feel like I want to help people start to transition their lifestyle choices over. What are some things that we can do to kind of just build our immunity right now to, maybe potentially help limit our risk of certain viruses that might be out there?
100%. So we have to remember that everyone's at a certain level of understanding and education and or consciousness about this, right? And willingness to do or be proactive about it. So let's say you've got a really stubborn friend. Let's say it's the one you're talking about that's ordering Postmates or DoorDash every day and doesn't exercise and is zooming in his underwear. So for someone like that who maybe it's going to be really hard to change their life overnight, or they may not have the discipline, you want to go in baby steps. So let's say they like alcohol. Rather than just buying store-bought conventional alcohol, rather than saying absolutely no alcohol, changing their diet, and they're like, oh, you're putting me in a torture chamber, I'm not doing this. You can do it in steps so it doesn't feel like that for them. And so one step is to change their alcohol. Let's say they like wine, to biodynamic wine or really clean alcohol, right? So let's not overindulge. Alcohol isn't great, but you can get some stuff without sulfites and some stuff that's grown with organic grapes without herbicides if you have to drink.
I got Abigail to switch over her wine. Now you drink. I always see you doing Fit Vine wine now, Abigail.
That's the only wine I buy.
See, I mean, because when you start to realize when you have a couple, you don't feel as bad. It's worth it. Right. And so sulfites are what give us hangovers, guys, is what I'm saying. Wink, wink. So, there's steps like that. You may say, okay, instead of ordering Postmates, let's get you on an organic meal delivery service if you have the budget for that. And you give them little steps. Let's walk every day. If you're scared, you can be one of those people that wears your mask outside, even though I don't feel that's great for the immune system, but you can still get outside and walk. That's free. That's slowly exerting your immune system and your body. And so just small steps with a stubborn friend can help. Ultimately, if you want my guide to just keeping inflammation away in general, if for someone that's willing and proactive, I really do make a lot of dietary changes. I really do make sure people are sweating 3 to 5 times per week, that their liver is functioning okay. And that doesn't just mean your blood work's okay, guys. That blood work's 50 years old. It hasn't changed in forever. I ask questions to see if you can tolerate alcohol or caffeine, or how are your blood sugars. These are all liver questions. And I make sure all your organs and your detox functions are functioning properly. And that's really a great way to see if the immune system is working properly. I mean, are you sleeping okay? Do you have, anxiety all day long? Does your gut function properly? Do you go to the bathroom okay? Do you sweat normally? These are the ways we release toxins. And so if people are functioning normally and their body is in homeostasis, that's a great way to judge whether the immune system is functioning properly as well. And there's really a lot of power. I want people to understand there's a lot of power here because you are really your own best healer. And the immune system being healthy is really about diet and exercise and lifestyle. And I want to empower people to know that they can make those healthy changes, even if it's growing seeds in a windowsill garden.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
I have a sauna in my living room, Dr. Jess. Like I'm, you know, I practice what I preach.
Yes, you do. And that's so attractive when everyone practices what they preach. Can I just say that? And so, yeah, you know, don't you feel like $1,000,000 when you get out of that sauna though?
Yes, and then I go and I take a cold shower. Like I have my routine
Yeah.
down.
So I love it. So Zack has got the perfect beauty routine going on. Sweating activates your lymph system, activates heat shock proteins, which activates your immune system, lets you deal with stress better. You're detoxing, even heavy metals can be excreted through sweat. And then he gets in a cold plunge or cold shower, which is mimicking cryotherapy. And that also can activate something called cold shock proteins, which also encourage your immune system to be balanced, if you will. And so that's, I just had to explain the science behind your routine to everyone.
I love that.
Please do, because I can't explain it to them. I could just be like, I like it, and it makes my tushy a little firmer, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
So let's bring on Dr. Jess to explain it.
This is the thing. That's another beautiful point, actually, is that beauty comes from within, actually. And so everyone who's like trying to get, you know, this cellulite removed via this thing they're sticking in their, I don't know, in their thigh, or, you know, rubbing creams on stuff to get rid of rashes and things, it's not the correct way. The correct way is to treat your diet and internally what's going on with toxin load in the body, which is often things like plastics, petroleum, pesticides, heavy metals, and then pathogens. And it's really what's inside us that often makes us sick, not what we're missing.
Yep.
So can you go into a little bit more about like heavy metals? Like how would you remove those from your body? Like, can you give us some tips on that?
You have to get a metal detector. Get a metal detector to find out where the heavy metals are, and then just go to your plastic surgeon.
And if there's any precious ones too. So yeah, heavy metals are actually a controversial topic.
They are. You picked one of the most controversial topics.
You did. Actually, one of those controversial questions, because how do you remove them is like, there's a number of different ways, and some believe in IV chelation, which is pulling them out IV wise through things like EDTA. And it can be, it's really my last ditch effort because it can pull other helpful micronutrients out of the body. And so I often don't want to do that with people right away. I think there are other ways of doing it. Andy Cutler is another pretty famous one who has a famous heavy metal chelation. Is done a safe way with oral agents like alpha lipoic acid. And then finally, the company I love the most, which is Cellcore Biosciences, has a specific heavy metal environmental toxicity meter that I pair with sweating. So, you know, you can excrete heavy metals through sweat and through urine, and we can chelate a lot of them through oral binders. And so many pathogens have an affinity for heavy metals. So sometimes even finding stealth infections within the body and working on those pull the metals as well. So.
Wow. So break that down in layman's terms, because I feel like they're like
Yeah.
you take like an oral supplement, or
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So in addition, to use me as an example, I do the sauna, the infrared sauna, a far infrared sauna, and I have a some droplets. It's called NDF Plus by this brand BioRay, and they and it's like it's more of like a supplement form. They're droplets, so it's not a pill form. But I usually put that into water, and then it helps, release at a very, low grade, release the heavy metals from my body.
Correct. And there are binders which can bind and pull them out too by certain companies. And probably what you have, Zack, is something like cilantro and chlorella in that, which is like an herbal. That's, if you want, that's why they always serve cilantro with fish, because fish carry a lot of heavy metals. And so cilantro is always a side dish, or a lot of the times with fish for that reason. So that's a big place you get heavy metals as well as mercury fillings. So there are a number of different ways. There are a couple herbs that do it, and then there are actual minerals that do it. DMPS, EDTA, these are some of the acronyms of the minerals that pull out heavy metals, and they're controversial. You know, people think different things about them. It's not very straightforward. Yeah.
I'm like so blown away right now.
Yeah, it's
but
crazy.
I think it really comes back to the fact that I don't think we realize I think when people think of heavy metals, they don't realize how commonly exposed to them we are and have been just within our lifestyle since birth, really. And so there's like that accumulation. And so heavy metal buildup eventually leads to, you know, a bunch of other issues that we have within our body that brings the need to have to excrete them.
100%. I mean, they're ubiquitous in the environment. They're found in the soil. We're exposed to everywhere, depending, even the water supply, tap water, I mean, everything. And so even certain foods, rice has arsenic in it, right? So there's a number of different ways that we are exposed to heavy metals, but, you know, we're exposed to chemicals, I believe, even more than heavy metals nowadays, like corporate toxins. Yeah.
So what would you, like, I was looking at your website and everything, and I love how you have it broken down. You're like, the people, who do we treat? And it's like all of these different diagrams. I'm like, oh my, they treat everyone. and I'm like, fine. I'm like, oh, that, like, with everything that's going on right now, with everyone kind of sitting in their homes and there's a lot going on, I felt like the top 3 ones, as far as like across the board, were the weight struggle, anxious and depressed, and tired of feeling tired. Yeah. Obviously, there's different issues with each of those. What if you have all 3? No, I'm just kidding.
It's very common. If you have one, you usually have all 3. Trust me.
So can you give us like a little insight there? I know obviously that's your livelihood, and people should go and get on your services, obviously, but what could you maybe give us a few tips that can help us combat that during this time?
Yeah, I want to be less stressed, less anxious, and I want to lose 10 pounds.
Right.
It's perfect, right? Doesn't it? We all do. Sign me up, right? So a lot of times I'll find that women, especially when like 90% of my patients are women, and they'll come to me and they would say, I don't eat gluten, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat processed sugar. Why I'm eating 1,000 calories a day. Why am I not losing weight? Why? And they'll feel puffy and inflamed. They'll feel irritated, or they won't sleep all night. And right. And when I start talking to them, yeah, I mean, it's so common. And then they'll say, so I have this extra 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds on me. I'm irritated and tired all the time. And I have this brain fog, which is a term I use quite a bit. It's difficulty with clarity of thought, not being as witty or clear as you want to be. And it's so many people, but there's not an ICD-10 code for brain fog. So Western medicine is just like, sorry, here's this antidepressant. So, and it never is the answer. It's a Band-Aid. And I'm sorry if everyone thinks that's pseudoscience, but when you pull 3 feet worms out of people and their suicidal ideation and depression goes away, you start to think that maybe you haven't learned the whole truth in school. So, and I've recently, I've had this experience a million times over with my patients. I wish we had them on this call, because they would tell you. They pass biofilms, which looks like mucus, and worms and things in the toilet, because everyone has this. If you eat sushi, if you let animals lick you in the face, everyone thinks their food supply in America is top notch, and it's really not anymore, people. Right? And then we're exposed to all these other toxins.
My dog is never fucking kissing me again. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Don't mean to be a horror story. But,
I'm like, holy shit, what?
Yeah, girl, true story. I mean, it's everyone, about 60% of people I estimate have parasites. And, parasites have an affinity for heavy metals. This is where I'm tying this in at. And so, a lot of times when you pull parasites, you can pull a toxic conglomerate from people. Mold is another one that's just huge in the studies now in the last few years. And it pairs quite well with parasites and can cause people's immune systems to spiral out of control. And conventional medicine doesn't really have answers for these people yet. And so they're just given pills and pills and pills. And then they finally come to me and they say, I've seen 10 doctors. I've been on 30 different medications, from pain medicine and antidepressants to benzodiazepines, and I feel no better. And I can't continue to ignore that in patients that I took an oath to do the best for them. I have to explore other options, because when my training doesn't give me answers, then I look to other studies and I look to root cause medicine, and functional medicine has given me and my patients the answers we need.
So what are like some good starting points? So if there is somebody at home and maybe they do feel like, because immediately as you're listing some of these symptoms, I already have friends in my head that I'm like, I need to send them to Dr. Jess. This bitch doesn't listen to me. She's anxious and doesn't sleep and has terrible acne. But like, so what? Obviously, lifestyle choices are some things that we can start to incorporate little by little. But what would you say is kind of like a first step if one of the, profiles that Abigail described is that we can identify with? Like maybe we do want to lose weight. Maybe we do want to be a little less anxious. Where do we start?
So really the four things that cause all disease are pathogens, corporate toxicities, like I mentioned, heavy metals, and emotional trauma and stress. Those are the four root causes that I found that lead to a plethora or a myriad of diseases and labels that we've been given. Because when you pass those toxicities and the environment through our genes, they look a number of different ways based on what genetic predispositions we have. And so I would encourage people to look at those root causes. If we're truly to believe the ancient texts that said the body is perfect, then, and we know that the world is really not perfect, we should look more towards our environment and what's around us. And so your body is really intelligent, smarter than any of us, and it really wants to heal you, and it's warning you. And if you guys can figure out the root cause, you can heal brain fog and lose the weight and all that stuff. So if you think it's your hormones, know that hormones are a consequence of one of the four things I already listed. So look back through your history. Have you had root canals? Not good. Have you lived in a moldy house? Have you had mercury fillings? Did you have mono in high school? Did you go get food poisoning when you were in Bolivia? All these things are like adding up in your innate toxin bucket in your body. And at some point it fills up to the certain brim and you start having symptoms and a diagnosis is labeled. And so we have to dig back in your history and be like Sherlock Holmes and uncover all those things. So if you've been exposed to that and it would be really great for you guys to make sure that you're pooping and sleeping and look into all that stuff. Find a doctor who's able to ask if all your drainage pathways are open. And then we give you a cleanse a lot of times, or, maybe a binder to pull some of this stuff out. And really people start to heal. It's amazing.
Isn't it crazy how when we get to the root cause of things, we can actually treat them?
In like life in general, I feel like we could apply that to a lot of areas.
Take me to therapy.
Yeah. I even encourage people, they say this all started when I had a traumatic birth with my son, and then so-and-so died. And I'm like, okay. And they're tearing up when they tell me. And I'm like, there's not closure there. When your diagnosis happened there's some trauma that we need to unravel. So I need you to go do, this sort of, hard work with, either, someone to talk to, or cognitive behavior therapy, or sometimes energy work if it's needed. And so I really encourage my patients to look at all areas of what causes disease.
Yeah. So let's say, because you're in North Carolina, let's say I need some help.
Yes.
Do you work virtually with people?
I do. Yes, I absolutely do.
Okay.
Yeah, you really, unless people have, I miss physical exams on people, but what I've realized is a lot of times by the specific questions you ask, if you just need to spend an hour and a half with people, you can't go really fast like these 6 to 8 minute doctor visits. You have to get a full history from people, and you have to really dig in deep, and that takes a long time. And that and believing your patients is the difference. So yeah, I can get you.
So what are
Screw Tracy Anderson. I'm gonna just like.
all right?
Oh my gosh, I hope she hears this podcast.
So what would you say are some other tangible steps that we can take towards just kind of being healthier and boosting our immunity? Are there some supplements that we can take? Are there some lab tests that we should have our doctors run? Because again, everybody's feeling really scared right now. Nobody wants to get sick. Everybody's over sanitizing everything and wearing hazmat suits to the market. What are some things that can kind of put people's anxieties at ease a little bit if they're sitting at home right now worried about getting sick?
Well, first of all, before you guys do anything, I just want to let you know that we're made of bacteria, our microbiome. We recently have discovered a human virome, so we're actually made of viruses that help protect us too, and eat and destroy certain bacteria that we don't want. And so we're nothing but one big giant pathogen. And so bacteria and viruses don't really want to kill you. They actually want to live symbiotically with you. So that's the truth about viruses and bacteria, first off. Second of all, what can you do? Medicinal mushrooms like reishi, shiitake, turkey tail are wonderful at boosting T cell memory, which has been shown to be able to have crossover immunity to get rid of certain viruses that we haven't seen before. So you really want your T cell memory to be working properly so it can cross over and recognize viruses you've never had before, right? So it's a really cool thing that our bodies can do this. Intermittent fasting is another way. Exercise, especially in the morning sun. The sun activates our mitochondria, which is the way we make ATP or energy in every single cell in our body other than red blood cells. So, it's really important to think about a non-inflammatory diet too. So anything processed, if your ancestors wouldn't recognize it, try and cut it out and really go for wild caught fish and pasture raised meats and organic produce if you have that privilege and opportunity. And, really sweating every day is super important, as you know, Zack. It makes you feel like $1,000,000 and makes your skin glow and rejuvenates you and turns on your immune system. So there are lots of things that you guys can do to empower yourself preventatively.
Yeah, I think we need to be taking more of these preventative measures. I think, I just think that should be really pushed out in the news a lot more. Like, take some vitamin D, take some adaptogenic herbs, get moving, sweat a little bit, get some sun, get some connection with people that you love, talk to them more. I feel like right now we're all so isolated.
Yes, that's so important. That has been shown to increase immunity as well. I mean, we need a community. Don't you guys miss your friends? Yeah.
I miss Abigail. I haven't seen her.
Oh. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's true. There are so many other pillars of health that we can kind of activate right now. And I think, we just need to tap into those a little more often. And I think now is a really great time to educate ourselves. I feel like we're all at home. We're learning a lot about, racial inequality, and we're learning a lot about our government. And we can also be learning about how to keep ourselves healthy, while we're all doing our research and being proactive for, our country. I think we can also be proactive and have autonomy over our own health and start to take steps in that direction as well. And then I think it puts a little bit of ease, for people that are feeling anxious right now.
Well said. I mean, amen to that. It's often a travesty what happened for many people's businesses and their work with all this. And some people lost their lives or their loved ones due to this virus. That's very true. But, if we have to look at a shining light in all of this, it's that we all hit the pause button and we get to reevaluate what's important to us and what is not. And so this is really a good time to have some self-care and to put yourself first if you've been on the rat race of working and in flight or fight mode the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I really got to get on this.
No, you're a good girl. I mean, that's all it is, education and spreading it, throughout once everyone gets this and is on board, we'll be a new society. We will.
We're definitely
So,
in this
yeah.
like moment of awakening within the world. We're all learning a lot. We're all doing some inner reflection. We're learning about systems that, you know, aren't the most as trustworthy as we once believed that they were. You know, I think a lot of people are waking up to a lot of
Yes.
different things, and that's good. And we just have to keep doing that work and not go back to sleep. You know what I mean?
100%. You said it. I mean, yep, you said it. It's perfect. I agree.
Can you repeat that, Zach, for everyone?
Yes. Woo. Yes, yes.
You have to
Thank
add
you,
it.
Dr. Jess. Yeah.
Thank, thank you guys so much. I know it's getting dark where I am here. So, yeah, on the
You're
East
fading.
Coast.
What? No.
I know,
You're
fading away, like
away.
turning into a pumpkin. Yeah. Yes,
So helpful.
I know.
And
Yeah.
where could people touch base with you to get your services?
So, you guys probably looked on Nourish Medical Center. I actually just gave my notice there, so I'll be done towards the end of the year with one-on-one consults there. But simultaneously, I will be launching a new subscription plan on my website, which is drjessmd.com. And it's going to be something that's never done before. So it's going to be kind of like a health coaching consult service, meetup, vlog, podcast, all in one. And it's a subscription on the website. So it's going to be, because I just listed you guys what really causes chronic disease, the 4 things. So a lot of times on one-on-one consults, I'm repeating myself. So here I'm able to get on a platform with a group of people and set the message broader. And so that's what I'm looking to do, is just to help more people with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can people subscribe to that now, or when does that come out?
Not yet, but it will be probably November, December, and it's going to be very affordable.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So
Wait.
very affordable.
Perfect. I'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. You should. I'd love to see you.
Oh, 100%. This is crazy.
Yeah. So all
So
kinds of
we
webinars and education. Sorry.
We like to
Go ahead.
close. No, we like to close each conversation with like our biggest takeaway. Abigail, do you want to?
Kick off what you're going to be taking away this.
I was going to volunteer today. Yeah, let me start. So, my biggest takeaway was just like your 4 pillars, and then also like people can have worms in them. Like,
Yes, girl.
Oh,
Wait till you learn about people putting worms in them with Hellman's therapy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe you know about that, Zach. Yes, absolutely. Because we are a
You know
microbial
me. I geek out
balance.
on all this stuff. I've studied it hardcore. When people come to me and they think I'm some dumb blonde that doesn't know shit, I'm like, I will school you in a minute, honey.
done that, Zach?
Know your place.
no, I have not done that. Not yet.
So here's not yet, he said, not yet. So, okay, here's the thing is that, parasites aren't all bad. They do have their place as in helmet therapy and autoimmunity sometimes. But yeah, you should see my folder on my computer labeled parasites. I have a whole picture file of worms. And, some are mucus biofilm, which is what pathogens make and live in our body to protect themselves from our immune system. It's like a walled off pond scum that our immune system can't really find them in. And so they communicate that way and harbor themselves. And so that comes out of people, worms come out of people, and their symptoms start to resolve. You definitely can reverse thyroid autoimmunity and autoimmune conditions as a whole. They're really just a constellation of symptoms we've labeled.
When you start putting worms in your body and start getting labeled as like a pseudoscience quack, then I know you're my people.
That's right. I mean, I go where my patients are better. Go with, that's what my goal is. Anyway.
I think my biggest takeaways from this conversation are, it's a message that I really try to push in every single week, and that's that, like, you have so much power and potential within yourself. You just have to be willing to tap into it. I think so many people are afraid of their own power and potential, so it's very easy to just kind of, dismiss it and go for quick fixes, or to kind of tune out to all the noise that's around us. But it's like, you really have to go inward and realize that, like, whoa, if I'm not feeling well, there are things that I can do about this. If I'm seeing something in our society that I don't like, I can change that, and we have to be brave enough to, stand up and take control of our lives. And I know it's scary, but like right now is the perfect time to do it because we have so much time for inner reflection.
Yes, I 100% amen. Preach, preach, preach. But yes, I am just saying, if you're a canary in a coal mine and you're sick all the time, you know what? Your body's reacting appropriately to a very toxic environment. The things that are bad for you are also killing everyone else, but your body's warning you and mine's not. So that's what I tell all my sick people. It's not, your body's really smart. So on the
Yes,
final
it
note.
is.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jess. Everybody needs to go and give you a follow. What's your Instagram handle again so everyone can check you out?
Dr.Jess.MD. So I'd love to see everyone.
Dr.Jess.MD. I love it. Thank you so much, guys. You can follow me at Just Plain Zack all over the social medias.
And you guys can follow me at Abigail _AF.
I'm going to go follow you, Abigail. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you back.
Hi.
I ain't no follow back, girl. I ain't no follow back, girl. Don't forget to follow at the Adulting Podcast so you can keep up with the latest show news and fun clips that we share. And we also have like really great funny content on the Adulting Podcast. So go and follow us on Instagram. Go to theadultingpodcast.com, sign up for our newsletter, and stay tuned. We have lots more great episodes to come. And if you haven't done so yet, go and get your ass a Roku device because we are now available on Roku so you can watch all of these episodes for free. You don't even have to subscribe to anything. We're giving it to you all for free. So go and get yourself a Roku device, subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on Spotify, give us a 5-star review because we love that validation. All right, guys, until next time, we'll be
#adulting.
Yay! We're out.